What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bianconero's home. Welcome back to the channel for a daily news video. The day before we play on a Tuesday. This week we play Sassuolo. We will preview that later tonight, obviously, because the Sassuolo game is where we kick-started our season. Basically, we lost, and then we went on the streak that's still ongoing, and some might have a feeling it will end again. So we will talk about that later tonight. However, there is some transfer news. I wasn't here over the weekend, so gonna discuss Henderson and the many twists in the Henderson story just in about 24 hours. Samardzic, there's an update on him. DJALO update, Kone, KEAN, ADZIC. So a lot of things to go over in this video, which we're gonna do. Before we start that, like the video. Let's set a goal for 75. Let's do 75 because it's a Monday. I'll go easy. So hit that like button now. Thanks everybody who is doing that. And let's jump straight into what has been a bizarre weekend. Okay, so Henderson, that news broke Friday evening. And if you watch my daily, you can see I messed that one up because I recorded it. I was out. So I pre-recorded it, and I was like, that's good. And just when I was about to close everything, and I was live, the Henderson news broke. So I quickly went over the news in that video, but it developed very strangely in the last 24, 48 hours. So first, it was Di Marzio talking about it, then suggesting it should be an 18-month loan deal, or that's what Henderson wants at least. That the money wasn't an issue for the club, Juve. Like they're just gonna pay a fraction of what he's on at the Saudi club, and that talks are ongoing. And I was like, yeah, there's no way, man. Whatever, Di Marzio. I was a bit worried, but I was like, this cannot be real. Then Romeo Gresti confirms that Saturday, I don't know, morning, saying that yeah, there are talks with Henderson and his representatives to see if anything is really possible. And then everybody picked up the news. Corriere dello Sport came out. Gazzetta dello Sport saying it's an agreement between Giuntoli and Henderson. However, Allegri is still not sold on the entire thing. And then Football International, basically, who are a very good outlet in the Netherlands, and especially when it comes to Ajax, in my opinion. So they came out with a story that kind of contradicted everything, basically suggesting from the Italian media. And they're saying the transfer of Jordan Henderson to Ajax has moved one step closer. The club is nearing a personal agreement with the 33-year-old midfielder, after which Ajax needs to reach an agreement with his current club. Juve has also expressed interest in Henderson, but it's not yet concrete. Juve can only do a loan, and in this scenario, a significant portion of his salary would need to be covered, making it impossible for Juventus, which is very doubtful, that last part, if we can cover it, because it won't be the entire fee. And a lot of players are trying to get away or get out of their contracts now. Benzema is doing a weird thing. So it's a weird situation. However, this is completely different to what actually has been reported in Italian media. If you go off Italian media, it felt closer than it apparently is. And I'm happy if he goes to Ajax. I couldn't care less about Ajax as long as we don't sign him. Because when that news came out, I was like, yeah, nobody's going to believe that. And somehow, some way, a lot of people in the fan base can twist everything the club does in something positive. They can sign Alexis Sanchez from Inter, and they will turn it into a positive. They will make it out, we took him from a rival mid-season, in a Scudetto battle. That's a mental win for us. They would twist everything. Henderson, like I said, 33-year-old, good in a Liverpool system, an average footballer. And I'm being like, he's just bang average as a footballer. Oh, experience. Okay. So what is that experience going to do when he joins a team mid-season in a new league, in a new country? I just don't... I'm not sure about that. So he's going to bench Locatelli, and Locatelli is going to be moved up. What about... all these questions came up, and I was like, how are we in talks with Henderson? Like at that point, I'm like, just stay the way we are. Don't sign a player. Do not sign a single player today. This transfer market. Do not do it. I think we need one. I think the narrative changed based on 2 Coppa Italia games, because before the first Coppa Italia game, I saw nobody saying we're good as we are. Now Miretti is the the new shiny toy. When the same people and the same media outlets were slating him, and now based on 2 Coppa Italia games, we're all good. And I love Miretti, but you cannot flip the narrative or flip your opinion that quickly based on 2 games. And between those 2 games, we played a Serie A game and we struggled in that Serie A game. So I don't know how that is possible. If we're gonna sign players in, it's the argument that we don't need a player because it's gonna take minutes off others is true. But however, if you want to be a top club, it is what it is. Because are we not gonna sign players in the summer? When we go back into Europe, because hey, you're scared that other players are gonna lose minutes. The best one plays. It's as simple as that. If you're not good enough, well, you're gonna be a substitute. It is what it is. There needs to be competition. Our starting 11 is not world class. It's nowhere near world class. So I don't know how the narrative can be we don't need one. We're mid-season in the title charts. We do not have a squad, the same quality squad as Inter in depth wise, and options. Allegri lost 2 midfielders, Pogba and Fagioli. They would have been here this season, by the way. So I saw nobody complaining about, we have too many players, there's too much competition. When we started the season with Pogba and Fagioli, and now he lost those 2 players, you're telling me we don't need any help? I think that's crazy. Locatelli has been suspended. Rabiot took a knock. McKennie was already suspended, injured for a game, sickness. Like we are every single game the last couple of weeks, we're missing 2-3 players. So why should help not be welcome? What balance? If he in training proves that he's the guy and that he gets his minutes and he takes those minutes, whoever comes in, good. The next one up, who quote unquote lost his spot, you fight for it again. This is a top club. This is what we want. This is what I want personally. But Henderson, obviously, no. Then I'd rather say like it is, because I don't see the point in signing Henderson. I'd experience one, okay, whatever, but he's bang average football. Now let's move on to Samardzic, because the news flipped from Samardzic to Henderson. And I'm not saying that we're not going to sign Samardzic in January. I was like when I said that, how can we go in 24 hours from Samardzic to Henderson? I was not talking about, we're not going to sign Samardzic ever. I was just purely talking about profiles of players. They're 2 different players. And I got all confused. I'm like, the club sounds a little bit confused, doesn't it? Like, if you go from Samardzic potentially in January to Henderson, then your ideas are a bit all over the place because they're 2 different players. However, to the sport saying, Juve has reached a Premier League agreement with Samardzic. However, the deal will be done in the summer. So I know the chances of him joining in January are very slim. And Romeo said and everybody was basically saying they're looking if it's possible for him to join in January. If not, they will try to secure him for the summer. And even then, with the track record, Inter doing his medicals at Inter, not signing, closer to Napoli, then saying, no, there's no certainty that he will play for us even in the summer. You need to be honest. You need to be realistic with his agent / that. How he's been moving the last 12 months, nothing is certain, so you cannot even suggest that. However, I think the chances of him joining in January were never that extremely high. It's just that you go from him as a potential January idea to Henderson, and you couldn't be more different as profiles. And I was sitting there when I saw the news, and I'm like, are the club really sure what they want to do in January? It feels a bit confused in my opinion. But yeah, probably more the summer than January. Like, that's what I said when the news kind of first broke. I'm like, I think it's gonna be for the summer rather than for January, basically. But if there is an agreement, that's a small first step, I guess. So let's see how that will develop in the next couple of days. Who knows? Maybe another twist, and he will join in January as well. And then the DJALO update that's finally done. It's Wednesday. He will be in Torino for his medicals on Wednesday. this one for Fabrizio Romano. He said, DJALO to Juve, here we go. Verbal agreement in place. Formal contracts are being prepared. Then time to sign the contract until 28. Lille to receive 3.5 million euros fixed fee and 10 million euro, 10% on the sell-on clause if we sell a medical currently booked on Wednesday. So that's the player we signed. Mirko Di Natale added that he could potentially still go out on loan. I don't know how that's. I don't know how we're gonna do that because he hasn't played for a year. Apparently, he's just trained or like he's not fitness wise ready to play games. So I'm not sure which club is gonna be like, yeah, we will take an unfit player for 6 months. It doesn't really make any sense because you're telling players you already have you're gonna be benched for an unfit player who's gonna be leaving in, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. I don't see that happening, to be honest, as well. So let's see how that will go. It will be for the best of us if he goes out and play, and get some minutes ahead of next season. That would be the ideal situation. However, that still feels a bit far away at this moment in time. But the deal, 3.5 million plus 10%, like you cannot really go wrong with it. If it doesn't work out, you will somehow make your money back on it. I'm pretty convinced about that. If he turns out to be a good player, good. He's versatile. Not that I've seen much of him, just reading into it. Can play left back or has played left back, right back, can play left and right, center back, can play on the left in a back three, which is interesting and maybe a bit worrying if you're trying to move away from a back three as a fan. But Alexandro was gone, so I think that's just the replacement for Alexandro. Very cheap and with a lot of upside. If it works out, good. If it doesn't work out, you're not losing real money on it. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that deal. So Wednesday medical for him, basically. Another medical that's it's booked is ADZIC. Kind of was a done deal 3 weeks ago, but now Romano's saying that Juve have finally sealed all documents for ADZIC. Understand he will be flying to Turin on Tuesday, medical booked, and contract signing on Wednesday. He will also be at Juventus Stadium for the Juve Sassuolo game. So, and then he added that he will join, obviously, in the summer. Let's see with that signing. Excuse me. First, everybody thought he's going to the next gen, and now there are also reports that he potentially could be loaned out to a Serie B side, and even Serie A sides are interested in him. So let's see how that will go. I think the next gen is maybe the first step the club will look at rather than just chucking him in already in Serie A and Serie B, in my opinion. But that's a done deal. Again, I never watched him play, so we don't know. Let's see how that will go. Pretty good signing. I don't know, what was it, 5.5? So again, it's potentially a lot for an next-gen player. However, if the club really believes in him, then fine. Let's see how that will go. If you miss out on 5.5 million, you're like, damn it, what a mistake. If you start bringing in these players for 5.5, 6 million euros for the next gen, and they turn out to be flops, quote unquote, then you have an issue. But if you do it one-off, I'm okay with that. You cannot always hit on everything, but according to what you read and see of the kid, he should be a real player in the future. So good for that as well. Then we have a Kone update. On him, I will read out the news first. This from Tutto Sport, saying Juve are determined to bring in Kone in the summer. Giuntoli and Mana have already engaged in discussions with his agent, and there is a positive inclination towards a transfer to Turin in the summer. He has 1 year left on his deal. I've seen 10 million euros. I've seen 18 million euros being reported. However, we paid Gladbach money for Zakaria when he was free in the summer. That's to, keep good relationships. That will obviously come into place. That's why you do these things. He was close to Liverpool last summer. A lot of talks, and it didn't happen. He's still highly regarded. I'm not going to sit here and say I've watched a lot of Gladbach. I haven't watched a lot of Gladbach. From what I've seen, I cannot say, oh, he's great, he's fantastic, he's average. No, like too little of a sample size. He's a central midfielder, a defensive midfielder more, in my opinion. Like, future-wise, defensive midfielder, which is interesting that he can play that position. excuse me, for Locatelli a little bit, and what the idea is next summer basically. So it's gonna be very interesting. We need to keep an eye on it because we have been linked with him for many times. Giuntoli was linked with him when he was at Napoli, so it's a real possibility that we go for him in the summer, and it's potentially a very cheap one. You know, let's see if he goes to the Euros, which is not going to be in our advantage if he goes and he plays well. But that's someone we should be keeping an eye on. And then to wrap it up, a KEAN update, which gets stranger as well because nobody thought we would be talking about KEAN potentially leaving on loan, especially on loan in January. However, it is possible, and Monza and Fiorentina are interested in KEAN on loan, while in France, Rennes has shown interest. However, Moise is holding out for the Premier League, but Juve seems to have some reservations. The club would prefer him to go on loan to a team with playing time. Like the entire news story gets me confused. I just being KEAN, I would be like, I don't know. I found it very strange. Even the last part, the club wants him to go on loan where he gets playing time. Like he's not a kid. He's young, but he's been around the block for many years. I'm not sure what the club is expecting if he goes to Monza and he plays. I don't know what they're willing to see, what they already did not see, or what did they miss. Like I don't think we missed anything on KEAN. I think that's who he is. You know, yes, maybe you will see a little bit more of consistency when he gets consistent minutes, but I don't think he's gonna explode. Like I don't have that feeling. You know, he's been around a long time already to like there is a big sample size, if that makes any case. So I'm not sure what the club is looking for when they say, "Oh, we hope to loan him out to a Serie A club where he gets minutes." Okay, but I'm not really sure what the club is looking at. I'm not really sure what KEAN is looking at as well. So this entire story is very strange to me. But let's see. It feels like it's more out of the club in January than staying at the club. But you know, let's see. Still 15, 16 days to go. So there's quite some time to get things done. However, this is it for the daily. 75 likes is the goal. So hit that like button. I will be live tonight again for a preview because we do play Sassuolo tomorrow, and we need to win obviously because Inter won, and we need to keep pace ahead of that clash against Inter. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later tonight.